Hi there, everybody. My name is River Dolcom, and this is the 22nd episode of Speaking with Autism. April is Autism Awareness Month, and it's also Sexual Harassment Month. People with autism are amazing, kind, smart, intelligent, and do things that a lot of people do differently. Just like me, I did things differently from others, and I am unique. I do things differently from everybody else. 1 in 3 children have been diagnosed with autism, especially like me. Some people don't know how to react or how they feel how this happened. And sexual harassment has been happening all the time from teenagers, adults, and kids. 1 in 6 women or anybody have been abused by their spouses, or anybody. So if you know anybody who has been sexual assaulted, please dial the sexual harassment hotline number and call 911 for more information. So today's episode, since this is Autism Awareness Month, I think it's time for everybody to know about my story, about how I was diagnosed and how this affects today. So, I was born October 22nd, 1999, at the medical center in Nacogdoches, Texas. I was born with my mom, my dad, and my older brother named Hunter. And everything was going great, I did what a normal kid was doing, been active, playing around, goofing off with my family and my brother, playing like children toys and all that stuff. And then, at 3 years old, I was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. I had like green goo coming out of my ears. I startled a lot where I had no idea that my parents were talking to me. They were saying like, "Hey River, hey River, hey River," and they had to like speak up to see if I can say like, "Hey, yeah, yes." And so I had no idea I had this condition. So throughout like pre-K, I was having a good time. I went to Brooks Quinn Jones, and I was just having a good time. I had a hard time trying to figure out making friends and doing schoolwork a lot, just like any children would have when they first joined school. But at first, I joined a little charter school or church school somewhere at a church, which I'm not sure it's still around, and I did not have a good time there. They were rude, but I won't mention the names because it's private. But I do know they now have the photography place, which I still know them to this day. And so I started doing pre-K at Brooks Quinn Jones, and it was good. I was still getting along with some students. I never had problems, and I loved my teacher, and she really helped me a lot. And I was learning, more of the basics like writing, math, and all that kind of stuff. And I just felt, and it was, just normal. Like, I would normally do the writing and reading just perfectly fine. Then when I entered elementary school from kindergarten, the fifth, kindergarten, first, second, they were great. I had great teachers, and I had some good friends. We had, whenever there was my birthday coming, I would invite friends, and we would, go, we would swim, we would do, slides, do swinging, and all that stuff. And I had a dog named Wags, Chicle, and all that stuff. And just like any other holidays, we had a great time. I dressed up, had candy, had birthday parties at the Lake Nacogdoches, East and West, and I was just out there just having fun with school. I never knew I was autistic because I was just out there just minding myself like any other child would act. they're not sure what's going on, and so so everything was going fine, just the way it is. Third grade was was also better, still the same old stuff. And then when I joined Boy Scouts in the year of 2008 or 2009, one of those two. And so we used to do Pinewood Derby cars. I'm not sure if they still do to this day. It was Route Troop 107, and I was still having a good time. It was, just getting out, trying to get used to go on the side, which I have done a lot. And so everything was going great until one time in third grade in 2008. I was doing Pinewood Derby practice, and I was sleeping. I just went down like this. My dad was there. He was wondering, "Hey, are you okay?" And he was scared, and that I was just sleeping. And it turns out that I was having a seizure. I was throwing up a lot, and so they took me to a hospital, and they made me lay there for a while, and they were like, "Okay, yeah, you're doing good. You're okay." Yes. I'm not sure what happened, but I was feeling better after when in the fourth grade. But then one time after class, and after Friday, normally we would have like a pizza Friday during the elementary school in fourth grade. Then one time I got out of the bathroom, and I was just standing there, like going like this, and mom and dad were wondering, "Hey, okay?" Then I fell down and had a seizure, and they took my blood, and they were making sure that everything was okay. And I was wondering what's happening with me, and they're like, "I don't know." They're not sure. So I don't know what was going on, on that day. And fifth grade was, and so whenever I was joining the school choir program, we would sing and do a lot of plays and projects, and I had tears of anxiety because I didn't want to be on stage. That and at one point in time, after that one incident during choir where I refused to be on stage, I just don't know why I had this fear of anxiety. I didn't want to be on stage because I didn't want to perform in front of anybody because I thought it was embarrassing. I thought it was embarrassing, the fact that nobody wanted to hear me sing. And I had, and during fifth grade they have the choir, the talent show, fifth grade talent show, and for some reason that movie Despicable Me, where Gru's song "I'm Having a Bad Day" really got me into it. And so I encouraged my dad that I would rehearse, make the costume, and when I performed that song, I caught the theater bug. Everybody was laughing. And that really caught me off guard, and I still don't know of a reality that to this day how I got that. So I thought that was really amazing that something like this would happen. And I was still around with friends and a lot of that stuff, going at the swings, the trees, all that stuff, and visiting my mom at work, and still doing Boy Scouts. But then I just really got fed up with Boy Scouts because I didn't like the environment. Not the children, but one adult in particular. I won't say the name. Just really annoyed me, and my brother got so upset. He's like, "Don't you touch my brother like that." When he tried to hit me like a wooden spoon because I was doing something wrong. I'm not sure what it was, but probably it has to do with something like either food or trying to create something, because it was part of requirement, like cutting wood or something. And so, but my parents said, "No, this is something you're gonna do this, and you're gonna finish." And I just don't know why. I don't know what's going on with me, because I did not like being out there. I'm tired of being sick a lot and all that stuff. It's like they understood, but I feel like they don't understand, because I've been out here being torturous a lot of times. And still, but then later on, became Eagle, got my crap together, and I made it all the way to Eagle Scouts in 2019. Even though 18, I graduated in high school, but it took a long time. And so, And so after elementary school, after 5th grade, joined in McMichael Middle School, and still the classes were great. Met some new people from different elementary schools, so this was kind of different for me in my environment because I was starting to become a teenager, and you know how teenagers are, just entering a new world where things are going to be hard. And so when I joined the choir program in 6th grade, I was the only boy in choir. I still have my yearbook to prove that I was in choir. The only boy in 6th grade, surrounded by 6th to 8th grade girls. And I had no problem with that. I just felt like it was just weird. Just randomly out of the blue that I was the only boy. And so all the classes were great, all the sports activities were doing good. Made some friends, but I feel like it was more acquaintances than friends. 7th grade was doing good, just the same thing, but then more boys decided to show up in the school choir program. And when I joined a theater class, and one was really rough because there were some students who had no motivation of doing theater. So then I got to move to another class where I enjoyed this class where these people actually had fun doing theater stuff. But I mostly stick to choir until one point in time I overheard that there was going to be an audition for Seussical the Musical Jr., which is like Dr. Seuss's play of Horton Hears a Who, but it's just called Seussical the Musical. So I auditioned, tried out, got the role of the Grinch, performed with friends, and the show was a success. And I really enjoyed doing that, which is still, I do theater to this day, and I will talk about that later on. And so all that was great, and then in 8th grade, still did choir, but then I also joined the track team, and it was not fun. I'll never forget it when I was running the 2400, which is like 6 laps. I was screaming, "Mom, I am tired! My legs hurt!" Like something I was straight out of Run, Forrest, Run, and Mom was like, "I don't care, keep going!" And all the entire audience was laughing. I still, to this day, cringe over that, because it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's so funny to laugh about. But then, before that, during like December 3rd, because I'll never forget this day, December 3rd, 2013, during PE class, I was just playing sports as usual with friends. But then I was about to head out to have lunch. I all of a sudden collapsed, face plant on like that, and one of my friends witnessed that and even told the nurse about it. And I'll never forget the one tutor who I had during 6th grade to help me out with all my homework assignments and all that stuff, and doing like tests to like be in a quiet place because when I had this during elementary, I did flashcards, cut the test in half, have one obvious wrong answer, and have more time so I can really like complete these assignments. She was holding my hand because she was worried if I'm gonna wake up, and so I did. I woke up like this. I was like, "What happened?" And my face was bruised, like because I just fell flat on my face. And so Mom and Dad came to work and they put me home, and they had to call off work so that make sure that I was okay because I had a seizure again. And I still don't, and I asked them, "What's happening to me? Why is this happening?" I don't know, but then I wasn't sure what was going on with me. And so the next day, all the same people were like, "You okay, man?" I was like, "Yeah." I don't even know what happened to me. Yeah, that was terrifying. I still don't even know what just happened. How did I even fell face first without noticing it? But then, after all, and then 8th grade, and then middle school year was over. Had a great time, but then high school hit. During 9th grade and 12th, I never had a seizure. But but so everything was going fine. I was going to do the choir program again, but I didn't get into it, so I decided to do theater. I did 4 years in theater in high school, 9th to 12th, and so I had fun doing the theater program. The first play we did was Game of Tiaras, which is basically like a parody of Game of Thrones, and I played the Blood Packet, the slapstick comedy, and that was fun. Made a lot of people laugh. The show was a great success. And then we did The Servant of Two Masters, in which I got my brother involved, because my brother was very, very shy, and he's still trying to overcome that, but he's going out more often. So I just told him, just go up there, just try it. I've been like this before. I got nervous and scared. I had fears of anxiety. I just go for it. Just go up there and do it. And he did that, and he played one of the dads of the play, and we wore masks. And we did UIL competition and didn't advance. It was judging was, and the notes they give us was kind of rude and idiotic. But then performed other plays like Almost Maine, Rhinoceros, and all that other stuff. But most of them were the understudies. Most of them were understudies. But I still had a fun time with theater. And then one time, at the age of 16, during 2016, which was my sophomore year, that my parents revealed to me that throughout all this time, I have autism. Of course, I was angry about it. Like, why? Why didn't you tell me this when I was born? But they had a good reason. Because they didn't want me to feel bad. I mean, all the teachers everybody were saying that I was doing great. That I never had a problem. That I had never had a problem with. I just go up there and do it. And so, it really broke my heart that all this time, I had autism. I felt like everywhere that I go in school, or at school, the classroom, in the hallways, everybody looked at me with contempt or with fear, and I barely could make any friends. All I had were acquaintances. And I tried so hard to go out, but anywhere I go, I've always felt rejection. Every time. And I'm still trying to go out to this day, and I feel like rejection every time. Just, it didn't matter what I did. I never even exist. Especially throughout high school, whenever I'm trying to join in a crowd, as in like the popular kids, like the football players, cheerleaders, and even still theater. But I still do theater. I hang out with them a lot, off and on. But when I try to find like a big group to fill in, it wasn't meant to me. And I had some good friends who are football players, cheerleaders, basketball players, and all that stuff. And I go to the games a lot. And going to prom, I went to prom for my first date to prom in 2014. It was fun. We had a great time. But then 15, 16, I just went by myself. Well, 16, 17 was with my cousin. But it fell in with the homecoming dance. That's what I meant, the homecoming dance, 2014 and 16 and 17. But then when prom in senior year, I went out with a friend of mine, and she had a crush on me, and I still have the picture over there. And so we went to prom and felt like a happy time. Like, this was a great memory. So senior year was really great, because I went out and do something and perform more plays, and also join activities. So junior, I joined the Interact Club, and that was really fun. Went to the animal shelter, and got all the others, and did all some other stuff. In 2015, we had dogs, and we haven't had it since Wags passed. Their names are Elroy and T-Boy, which are still here to this day. And I'm really blessed to have those dogs within my life, because in 2013, I tried to get weaned off the medicine the first time in 2013, and I had a seizure. And that was terrifying. And then 3 years later, in 2016, when I had my dog, I was trying to get weaned off again, and I had another seizure. And Elroy would just get up because this happened. Both times has happened. And so it was really hard to accept that I have autism, and I've been having so many seizures going around, and it's been a really tough topic to ask. And during the times in high school, I never had problems, but the only thing that I had problems with was being lonely. I felt like everybody just looked at me as a virus because I talk, I act, I do things differently. But then I realized later on that it's okay to be different. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be different from everybody else. We all have gifts. And maybe this was a blessing. And that I create videos for all you guys to understand that it's okay to be sad. You can talk to anybody, and that's what I did. I had therapy sessions with Mom to be different. I even have friends from high school, but I still try to get in contact with. But I still feel, rejection inside. I still feel rejected from anybody that I try to go with. And so when senior year hits, I went out to do stuff, joined Key Club, do a whole lot of stuff. I even won Who's Who, an award that I never thought I could ever win. And Who's Who is like the biggest award, where so many attendants of at the school, teachers and all that stuff, they love these students because they behaved well, and I was one of them. In fact, I even got nominated for School Spirit, something I never thought I would be nominated for because a lot of stuff going around, but that doesn't matter. So after graduating high school, I knew when college come, I'm never gonna have people to talk with that are gone, and that hit. And I still do to this day, still struggling to find friends and finding my place in my career. But I still do theater to this very day. I still love it, just like this play I'm doing, which is, by the way, sponsored by the Lufkin Community Theatre, which we're going to be presenting Little Shop of Horrors. Tickets are $15. If you go to the website of Angelina Community Theatre, you go to this thing called Eventspin, and it will tell you that it's $15 for a ticket. You select a date of what day you want to come, and it starts at 7. $15. Senior students will be $10. So, and continuing with that, I still do theater to this very day, and I still enjoy it with a passion, and even tried out for the big leagues and did my first ever movie was SFA. Not like the motion picture for Hollywood, but like for local SFA film. And during last year, which was by far one of the roughest years of my life, I had a grand mal. Whenever I was playing with my dogs, after I dropped off friends from grocery shopping because they don't have a car. I was just playing with my dogs, which was normal. But then all of a sudden, I fell back, and I had a seizure, and I didn't know about it. Mom and Dad were scared. They even called the ambulance. The firefighters and ambulance were there, and I remember throwing up. I was like, "What happened?" I thought I was sleeping. But I had a grand mal, and I was just like, "No way, did that just happen?" Because I don't know how that happened. Then we went to the doctor at Memorial, and it turns out of weight gainage that I've been gaining weight a lot. But I'm still trying to work out to this day, still trying to be better. And so that happened, and I couldn't drive 3 to 4 months, and that was rough having somebody try to get me. mom and dad having to ride with them without even driving and all that stuff. And I couldn't even get out of the house. But I went to my first ever Comic-Con event with my best friend. And so during 2020, which was the worst year, that really hit me when I was doing college. Because the first time in college, that was 2019. Because 18, they put me in a class where I wasn't supposed to take. But 2019 was when I officially got in and I did auto mechanics, and I did not enjoy it. And I blew it off. I was upset. I didn't enjoy it. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy because I didn't feel my place, but I enjoyed it during high school. But why didn't I enjoy it in college? And that's because I wasn't surrounded by people I enjoyed. And so I stopped doing automotive, and I went back to general studies and doing online classes on math, and it was not fun. I had anxiety of crying a lot. And that's always been happening during the early days of high school. Because I was just down. I didn't have anybody around me. I had only one best friend, and I didn't have multiple friends. And I had friends. Well, I still do have friends, but not the ones I hang out with. And so to this day, I'm still working on it and trying to be a better person. And when I found out I was autistic, I was not happy, and I felt very lonely, felt isolated. That at one point, I didn't do this, but I thought about it, that I wanted to die. I think the world would be better if I never existed. That I am a disease. I don't want to exist anymore, and I think everybody would be happy that I'm just gone. And so, but then a lot of people were like, no, look, your life has meaning. Your life's touchful. Don't think about it as a curse. You are here for a reason. And so that really really thought about it. And I just want to say to everybody out there who has autism or who has mental health issues and all that stuff, your life has meaning. It is meaningful. You have to preserve and be better. Go out there and do something. Seek help. Talk to your friends or family. And seek a therapist to help you out. And just like what I've been doing, I seek a therapist. I talked to my friends and family and figured out what was going on. And after last year, I haven't had a seizure, and I've been still making videos talking about autism and all that stuff. And this is my story. How I was diagnosed with autism and how my journey went. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and share with your friends. My name is Rev Delcom, and I speak autism, and this is a story about me.